Thank you, Malik, and esteemed panelists. While they're taking a selfie and getting an official photo taken, in the interest just to move on, I'm going to introduce the next panel. We're going to be talking about developing new markets and opportunities. It will host technology leaders to talk about building tech businesses in emerging markets. Please welcome the moderator, Timothy Malloy, Deputy Editor of An-Nahar newspaper.
All these gentlemen collectively have a long term of experience with the case of Neumann's the most recent to market, and then Netiks is long. You're over 15 years of history. So we're going to be examining today is staying abreast of their own technologies, bringing it to market. The themes we're going to be focusing on is how do they put in simple language is how do you sell these technologies to the client, if it's banking, insurance, or other corporate enterprise. Sell, how do they explain it, make it intelligible. Secondly, where do they get the talent from? All of these are equally challenged industries, whether it's IoT, CRM, or particularly artificial intelligence. The maintaining talent is a terrific challenge for all of them. A number of the panelists I spoke to previously mentioned about that their talent leaves within several years, and we have them spread across the world already. AI, even in the United States, is something where there is a serious problem in terms of recruiting people, the amount of money you compensate. And IoT, again, is something that's quickly changing. Scriptr IoT will probably talk about IoT is very much nascent right now. People think, oh, smart home, smart refrigerator. It's much more different than that, and it will be much more advanced as time goes along. Let's jump into it and go from there. I would like each person to just talk about their own brand, going right to left for a minute, talk about their company and what they do to start off the panel, and then we'll kick off the questions. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Tim. My name is Abi Aad. I'm the founder and CEO of Netiks. Our business is to deliver digital banking and customer relationship management solutions to banks and financial institutions. So we started in the year 2000 when online banking was just about to start, with some concerns that was a new way to bank, until now we're talking about machine learning, artificial intelligence, social listening, all of that mixed with compliance and more regulations imposed by the US, by the Europeans. So banks need to maneuver between compliance, security, confidentiality, and new techniques, big data, and deep learning, machine learning that's coming from Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft.
Thank you very much. Neumann AI.
All right. Thank you, Tim. First, thanks for ArabNet to have us today. Neumann is a 17 years old company started by Paul Tao in the Cedars area. And 4 years ago, he converted into AI. I would say it's the only homegrown AI company in the region. We're all licensed from Google, from Microsoft, from IBM. Neumann, what it did, it went after a pure BI, becoming, if you want, the analyst, the intelligence analyst for business decision makers. We show clients patterns that they didn't see before. And we did this for banking, we're doing this for retail and telecom.
Thank you very much. Scriptr.
Hi, first thank you ArabNet for having us. We're an Internet of Things platform. For those that are not familiar with the Internet of Things, it's connecting everyday things like the fridge and thermostat and air conditioning and anything you can see around you that you use as a consumer, but more connecting industrial equipment, smart cities, transportation, etc., to the internet. Why would we connect them to the internet? Is to get the data that would help to transform the entire business. So the premise of IoT is digital transformation, is business transformation, creating of new business models, understanding how the customer is using the products better to innovate, etc. So we help enterprise and industry to create Internet of Things solutions. That's the purpose of our company.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. This being Lebanon, everyone here knew each other in advance, and then all know a number of other people here as well. We have persons who have stayed here, who are coming back after 20 years and have been back and forth all along. Very impressive talent set here. Let's jump right in, again, right to left. Let's talk about customer relationship management. I tend to think of it as something you go into a restaurant and they know where you sit already, your favorite wine. But of course, I'm also familiar with the banking sector. Is going to identify a lot of your banking needs. It's going to advise the bank as to the potential for cross-selling to you. Yeah. And the same thing in insurance is going to suggest what might be the best area for you. It's more complicated than that, though, isn't it? Is you're going to talk, I'd like you to address is looking at the new verticals you're selling to people in terms of customer relationship. Let's say I'm the Wolf of Wall Street and sell me that pen. Is sell me CRM?
It's easy to sell you CRM.
Good.
Because anybody today can switch from one bank to the other if they're not happy with their bank.
Right.
So in order for banks to keep their customers, they need to provide them what we call a delightful customer experience.
Right.
And to give that, you need to know your customer very well. You need to know what they do, the transactions they do. You need even to listen to them on social networks. You need big data tools to analyze their behavior, their pattern, to detect if they're going to churn in order to react quickly, sometimes in real time, what we call the next best action. So the bank needs to analyze not only the profile, but in real time, the behavior of the customer in order to retain them, to keep them, in order to cross-sell and to upsell to them. And for that, the new technologies such as machine learning or data, what we used to call data mining is now called machine learning, artificial intelligence tools are there that enable you to profile, to have a good profile, and to predict what the customer is going to do as much as possible.
What are some things that, I'm going to quickly jump to the left as well. This is you're selling to the consumer, your bank and your insurance, some very sophisticated technology. For the average person, for myself, what are some things they might not understand is being analyzed and looked at by their bank? Nothing is invisible on the internet or in the modern world anymore, is it? Big data.
Yeah, well, there is a phenomenon, a nice writer wrote about, big data, little brain, doesn't work. It takes big data and good management processes to make the right decision. For example, with local banks, we have 4 banks today, our clients in Lebanon, and they're using our AI platform to analyze all kind of data from credit card, transaction, debit, deposits, loan, mortgage. And where they're using the system of Neumann is first to make a decision where not to lose clients. As you know, there are more than 70 plus licenses of banking in Lebanon for the state of Vermont. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
So it's very competitive, we know that. The key is to give insight, to give real intelligence about the behavior through a pattern. And then banks are making decisions to reduce churn rate, to customize product, to prevent defaulting. In our system, we can tell based on predictive modeling that this person is at high risk because it belongs, or he or she belongs, to a cluster of behavior. No more segmentation anymore in the world. There is clustering of behavior, what we call behavioral pairing. You behave like this, you belong to this based on your history, based on other pool of resources, then we predict at 80, 92% confidence level. Telecom, the same thing. Churn rate is a big issue for telecom. People are switching operators day in, day out. So predict when a user might leave the telecom company. That's an AI thing to do.
This is very interesting. I want to come back to a number of points you've raised. Scriptr, perhaps the most is something that's still something the consumer thinks they know about. They think of the smart home, but you're doing things enterprise home and at the city level, smart cities. Tell us a little bit about the actual application of IoT that you're working on. And while I know it's quickly changing, what are some things we'll see in the next year and the next 5 years?
Sure. So in terms of application, we still do not know how the applications of the future would look like in 3 or 4 years or 5 years. This is moving too fast. But I can tell you from our vantage point, we're working with customers who are doing a whole range of different solutions, starting from smart cities. So one of our customers has a product that's a smart bench. It's a bench that gets installed in public spaces, parks, sidewalks. And what the bench does, it measures foot traffic. So when you pass in front of it with a phone, it tracks you. It knows that this MAC address or some other ways to track people has passed in front of me. And then when they go to another street, they know like 10 people came from this side, and then 3 of them went that way, and 7 went the other way. So the way we address that, we're not pursuing a specific vertical. We're partnering with resellers, and some of our resellers are doing smart cities, some of them are doing transportation, etc. That's how we address the market. But to the last point that you mentioned, we definitely do not know how the applications would look like in 5 years. We kind of know how they would look like in 1 year. I mean, that's what we're working towards. But things are changing, evolving, and the breadth of IoT is not just a fad. It's not just like a new type of applications that are hitting the market. IoT is a true industrial revolution. Things are going to be changed completely once people understand what to do with the data coming out of the things. And that's what makes it very interesting. Our churn is around 8 years on average. People stay at the company. We have a lot of employees that left and came back. Every summer we do a big party and we deliver a trophy for those who have stayed 10 years. I've delivered 6 trophies already. So yeah, I mean, we've managed to retain create and retain highly skilled engineers. They're fanatic. They love the company. They're passionate about what we do. We're not solving small problems. That's what we try to get them to think about. That we're solving really big problems. We have huge potential. They cannot do the same stuff that they're doing at the company elsewhere because we're pretty advanced. And that sums a little bit our retention, how we hired, so how we recruited. We recruit from universities. We put them through almost a 2-year, 3-year program internal for them to be ready to take on the serious tasks. And we see who sticks around, and those who stay.
Based on what I'm hearing here, I would suggest any students in the audience seriously think about their majors, any of these talent set areas. All right, as Shakespeare notes, time is short, we still have some time left, don't worry, is a very key point that I spoke with the panel before I came on. This is something that they have come to grips with already, is scalability. They are already in the MENA space and in other cases in the global space. Lebanon is obviously a small business space with 4 million people. It's not something that's sustainable for an enterprise of any scope. Let's move on from that. You're already occupying international space, but talk about the challenge of exporting what you do, starting with my left.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Lebanon is a small market. Sometimes we think that we need to have a proven track.
Small but important.
Small but important, yeah. We have to prove ourselves in the country, in Lebanon, and then we can export. So what worked, we tried a lot during years to export. What worked is a strong alliance, in our case with Microsoft. So we have built a vertical on top of a Microsoft platform, and we're getting help to promote, to sell, and to implement, thanks to Microsoft. This is really what has been the key success factor for us to export to Saudi Arabia, UAE, Morocco, Bahrain, and Iraq.
A relevant point. get a big friend, is, all right, moving forward to Neumann.
Is because a startup, you're not gonna burn your cash on sales forces. You know, have hired a 10 sales rep, go on the street and burn that cash. We build partnership and build partnership to open doors. Another element succeeded for us to export outside Lebanon was our amazing venture capitalist. MEVP is a VC that put money in Neumann, and they have been tremendously positive, opening doors for their portfolio companies, including Neumann. So they schedule for you even the meetings. So you go there and you build a network, like you said, you be a big friend. And the third one is you deal with the owner. In the Arab world, I learned it, you talk to the owner,
Of course.
and then you go down. In the
It's
US,
personal
we go
relationships.
CIO, VP, sorry?
Personal relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the decision is on the top in
Right.
the Arab world.
Lastly, and then let's open it up for just a few questions, and I just have 2 minutes more. IoT, exporting what you do. You're already exported, but how do you continue that way?
Yep. Sorry, I didn't.
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me lean for exporting what you do. You're already you have a global presence. How do you maintain
Sure.
that and scale yourself?
Sure. Our product is it's a global product. We gain value by exporting it. Obviously, the market here is too small. Also, exporting a technology product only in the Arab world is not going to give us enough scale. So we understood that from the beginning. We created the company as a U.S. Scriptr is a U.S. company based out of New York, and we say we have the kitchen in Lebanon, which is the engineering group, and we handle the sales. We have business in the GCC, so we handle it from here. So we present ourselves to our customers who are in North America, some in Europe, as a U.S. company. Unfortunately, I would love to present us as a Lebanese company, but there's so much mistrust, and you have to go through that at the beginning because some of them, the perception of Lebanon is not that of a technology exporting to expand.
Thank you very
ourselves.
much. I'm seeing from Fatima, the famous TV wrap it up, cut it off point. Do we have time for questions, or we should wrap it up? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I intended to move it so quickly we'd have questions. I would like to thank all the gentlemen here. They've brought an incredible amount of expertise, and also to Omar Christidis, to Fatima, to Rana, and also the ArabNet team for putting together a wonderful ArabNet 2018. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim and panelists. So that concludes the Innovation and Investment Day in Hall A. Tomorrow, we're back here in the same place. We start at 9:30 tomorrow morning, and it's Media and, let me get it right, Media and Advertising Forum at 9:30 tomorrow morning. We've lots of exciting panelists, and you can find the full schedule on the app.